everybody, it's Allison. Welcome to my YouTube channel and welcome to another video featuring some products from Spellbinders. There are just so many products that came out in August, so I am still playing. Now you can see I have two cards here. They both feature Christmas lights, but in two different ways, obviously. And I also have a little surprise project at the end to share with you. So we're going to start off with this Layered Holiday Lights 3D embossing folder. That was just regular white paper that I put in there. And as I do with all my 3D folders, I spray my panel with a little bit of water first. And there is the embossed panel, and I love it. I mean, all the 3D folders from Spellbinders are just amazing. Now, I recently bought these huge fluffy brushes from Spellbinders, and I'm going to blend some Distress Oxide ink on this panel. I'm using Sponge Sugar first, and then I will move to Kitsch Flamingo and then Picked Raspberry. I am stenciling on my Waffle Flower Media Mat, formerly known as the Mini Stencil Mat. And I'm using my little 4x4 grip mat on the side to hold my ink pads. So here is my darkest color. This is the Picked Raspberry. And I know I'm rushing through this ink blending. There's nothing fancy here. I'm just kind of going for kind of an ombre blend. And here we go. Now I have my panel on my largest grip mat. This is my 7.5 by 11, I think. And I have these 3 stencils. This set of stencils actually comes with the embossing folder. It comes in a bundle, and it's really easy to line up the holes in the stencil with the embossed areas of the panel. So I am inking up the base of the lights with the Picked Raspberry. And for the lights, there are 2 stencils, so you can do multiple colors. You can do lots of colors, not just 2, but I'm just going to be inking up all my lights with a yellow color. I'm using Wild Honey here. And again, these are Distress Oxide, so even though my panel is pink, because this is a yellow oxide, it's going to, for the most part, cover up the pink. It's still gonna look a little bit more orange than it normally would, but because of the pigment properties of Distress Oxides, it is going to cover up that pink for the most part. And there we go. There is the finished panel, and I think it's so fun. All right, now I had put in a large piece of paper into that embossing folder, so now I'm cutting it down to use for my card, but I have this extra piece on the side and I'm not going to let it go to waste. I'm using my tag die here, and you can see it's a little bit longer than the piece of scrap paper that I had. So it's fine as it is, but it's kind of squared off on the bottom, and I want these rounded edges at the bottom of my tag. So I'm going to be doing some partial die cutting here. So I'm just putting the tag back into the die. And here's my little Scout die cutting machine. I'm not sure that I've shown this on camera yet, but I have fit the tag die back on there, and I'm covering up the bottom of that die with the top plate. So that's the only part that I'm covering with the top plate, and that's the only part that will cut. So now you will see that I have those rounded edges at the bottom of my tag now. So I'm going to set that aside and we will play with that later. All right, for my card, I have used the Olive Martinis and Christmas Cocktails sets. And for that drink, I have used some Distress Spritz in the Picked Raspberry color. You can't really see the shimmer, but it's there. And that little Santa belt is from the Christmas Cocktail set. This is a Nuvo Aqua Shimmer pen in Midas Touch. It's a gold color, and I should have done this before, but I decided let's add a little bit of shimmer to the lights. So I am just carefully going over the yellow lights with this Midas Touch pen, and it's really adding some beautiful shimmer and, just to tie into that shimmery drink. So again, you might not be able to see all of that shimmer, but it really, really added a lot of detail. All right, this is the Christmas Sentiments press plate and die. I have been using these a lot lately, and just because you can foil all of them at once and die cut them all at once doesn't mean you have to do all of them. So you can see I only foiled one of these sentiments. Now here's my little stash of foil scraps, and this is what I did. I'm just using this black piece as an example, but I had grabbed a little white scrap and hot foiled just that one sentiment. And now I can die cut just that one sentiment. And I know I've mentioned this before, I hot foil my better press plates, but you could do the same thing here by stamping with ink. All right, so here's the finished card. And again, I used the Christmas Cocktails die set to finish up the Martini glass. So the little things sticking out of the glass are from that Christmas Cocktails set, along with that really pretty bow. I made that bow with some white glitter cardstock, and then I layered it on top of a gold bow. So I thought that was really pretty. All right, we're going to move on to this next card, which features a stitched panel. This is the stitched Starfilled background, and there is an outline die that cuts an A2 panel. And so here's what it looks like. I have already stitched most of it, and I use this gold metallic thread to do that. So I'm going to finish stitching on camera. Now this metallic thread is, I'm not going to say it's difficult to work with. It's a little slippery. I'm doubling it up so that I have 2 strands, and I'm just passing the loop through my needle, which was really easy. And so here's the back of my panel, and I have some washi tape that I've already used to secure some of the loose thread, and I'm just putting one on the side so that's ready. Now I am coming up through one of the outside holes, and I'm going to go ahead and secure that loose thread again with this washi tape. This washi tape I just have in my stash of stitching supplies. I like it because it's kind of clear, so if you see it through one of the holes, you don't really see it. I try not to cover up any of the holes with the tape. Going back to this metallic thread, Spellbinders sells this on their website. I think you can buy it either separately or in bundles. This one that I'm using is actually from the 12 Days of Stitchmas Stitch Along add-on kit, which is now for sale, along with the actual 12 Days of Stitchmas Advent calendar. And I'm going to have a special video for that, although I won't be able to share it for a while. But stay tuned. Maybe sometime next month. I'm not exactly sure. But you see, I am just stitching. It's really easy stitching panel. You just do each little star and then you move on to the next. And I like to come up through the outer holes and then down into the middle hole. And here I am just securing the last thread now that I'm done. And here's what it looks like. I know I didn't show you much stitching, but really it's really easy stitching. Now these are the stitched string likes, and this Warm Wishes sentiment is from the Handwritten Holiday Sentiments. And I used some gold cardstock for this card. I used a glitter for the outline of the words, and then the brushed metallic paper for the other pieces. Now I know I said these were the stitched holiday lights. I think that's the name of it. But I didn't stitch these little light bulbs. I will later. I'll show you something with that later. But for now, I am using some glue just to put on the back of the panel. and I'm attaching it to a heavy piece of white cardstock. Now for my card base, this is a good way to save your colored cardstock. Just add a panel of the colored cardstock to the front of a white card base. And this overall card measures 4.5 by 5 3/4, because remember I told you that die, the stitch die, cuts a A2 sized panel. So in order to have that pink mat around the panel, I did increase the size a little bit. So here I'm just gluing the rest of the elements on here. And for the little light bulbs, I have a little bit of foam tape on the back of the bulbs, and then I'll put glue on the tip of those bases because that's gonna kind of sit right on top of the gold light strings. And just really easy assembly. You know, once you stitch the background die, everything else is pretty easy. Now I am adding a little bit more bling because there's not enough gold going on this card. I have some gold pearls that I am gluing into the center of each star. And look at all of that shine. It is such a fun card. Now you can see I didn't put pearls around the edges, and there were a couple stars that I couldn't get pearls on, but for the most part, they're all covered, and I love that little addition. All right, now I told you I had a little surprise at the end, and I also told you that I was going to stitch some of those little holiday lights. So here is that little bonus tag that I made, and I just made some more holiday lights, but this time I stitched them. And I added a little white pearl into the center of those little stitched areas. All right, that was kind of a short video for me, and that is because I am getting ready to go to my camp actually in a day. I try to get up to my camp in Wisconsin every year, and this is a big reunion, so I'm just kind of crazy right now. And I kind of don't have any cards planned for the near future. I have a lot going on, a lot on my desk, so you know, if you don't see another video from me for another week or two, don't be surprised. I do look forward to getting something put together, so I hope you'll join me when I do come back. And as always, I appreciate you being here with me today. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you next time.